Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Tara and this is my sister Cassie, and we are back with another crypto market update.
Last week, you guys, the market moved so fast and I think the dust has now settled. So it's time to get back to the charts and time to tell you guys what we think is happening right now and where we think it's headed. Bitcoin, with its last large drop that it had, we could see more on the way. Ethereum is just kind of still stuck in those same levels. And then XRP is now out of time. So I think we have a lot to cover in today's update. So I'm excited to share our thoughts with you guys. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any of our future updates. And let's get right to the charts.
Yep. Okay, so here we are on Bitcoin, and I'm on the Binance exchange this time just so you guys can see this clear view. And I'm zoomed out all the way to the daily time frame so you guys can get a good idea of where we are in the market. So this was that low that we had there at around 56.5, and we've been tracking a 5-wave structure coming up from the bottom up here. Bitcoin on this last high here, when it reached around 71.9 or 72,000, this was most likely that 5th wave of this 5-wave structure. And you can see this drop here. This was that major drop that we had on Friday. On the daily time frame, it doesn't look too significant, but Cassie will take us in further to give you a closer look there. I just want to show you guys where we landed on this higher time frame view. So that drop there, you can see, landed right on our 236 support here at around 68.4. The RSI is very neutral. It's under the MA, but it is just kind of flatlined a bit. We do need to get closer in here into the subways to give you guys a closer look at what's going on.
Yeah, Tar, all the levels you talked about are exactly aligned with what I have. So I'm excited to get zoomed in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to see anything on that zoomed out daily view.
Yeah,
because
but
it's not showing much.
Yeah, thank you for giving us that context though, because I'm gonna just really branch off exactly what you talked about. So this is that high here, and you can see that we were expecting it to come up a little bit higher for a really proper wave 5, but that last subwave really got cut short. You can see it did technically make a new high, so that is technically our wave 5 there. You can see here, I'm just going to hide my drawings. You can see this is that drop that we had on Friday, which doesn't look too crazy, but zoomed in, it's pretty red. So what is clear is that that was a wave 3 and that we are working on a sub wave 4 right now. So I'm going to put my markers back on and get zoomed in here a little bit further. So what I'm just tracking now is this first wave down, and you can see that we're really clearly forming a 5-wave structure. So that's really nice for analysis, and you can see that we've already hit that 382 retrace pretty perfectly and had support at the larger 236 retrace. So this is really respecting fib levels really nicely. This wave 4 can really come up to the 0.5, even the 618 retrace. You can see that that is our previous wave 1. So this, I'm just going to adjust if it does make a new high, but for now, this is our wave 5 or wave 4 high there. And it is lining up decently with our larger 382 retrace at 67.8. So what I'm going to do is just keep adjusting this wave 4 for the wave, or for the high that it actually does make. So it could come up to our 0.5 retrace at 70,002 and come up to about 70,006. Any higher would start to get invalidated for our wave 4 and really invalidate a new low touch here. So that's what I'm watching out for in the next few hours, in the next day or so on Bitcoin, is any new levels that it does reach, any invalidation points for wave 4, and then really keeping an eye on if that 382 target becomes invalidated or not. So that's what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, and because of the wave structure, guys, this is not looking like an ABC yet. It's forming as a 5-wave structure, so that's telling us that this could turn into a deeper correction. And so that's why we believe that it's only on wave A, or at least when we come up for wave B, that's going to be the critical moment to determine whether or not the correction is done or not. For this 5th wave coming down for wave A, because that wave 3 was extended, I'm not sure we're going to make it all the way to that 618 extension. It's possible that we only come down to that 1-to-1 of wave 1, which I've showed you guys on Twitter is exactly a double bottom. So keep an eye out on both of those levels there, that 618 extension and then also a double bottom as well. And then, like I said, after we form that and can confirm that wave A is done, that wave B level, which is going to be that 0.5 retrace, is very critical for us to determine whether or not this correction is done. So that's something that we're going to be watching out for the rest of the week on Bitcoin.
Right. So I'm just going to quickly zoom out just a tiny bit. So what Tara is kind of talking about is we're kind of zoomed in on this A retrace, which there's two different correction patterns that will generally form. It's either the ABC or the ABCDE triangle, and the A wave in both those is no different, and should really target the 382 retrace, and we're getting really alignment there overall. But this could come up a little bit higher and still be okay for our wave 4, and really still be okay for that larger 382 touch. But if we do start to break up back into this 70,000 like 600 area and 800 area, then the touchdown here is a lot more unlikely, and we probably will continue on to make new highs. So that's something to look out for. I just wanted to give that zoomed out view here. But what I have marked is a larger ABC, like Tara's talking about, to deeper correction levels, which align with that 64.3 that you were talking about. So that is kind of what I have marked out here, not necessarily going to happen. The B could come up, to like here and start to form an ABCDE, or the B could just get blown out of the way and become completely invalid, and we could start to make new highs. But for now, I just wanted to point out that that's what Tara was talking about with the deeper correction levels here, but this B is going to be really a key level to watch out for as we approach new highs or not. So yeah, and you can see now the RSI is really curving up. I do think it's possible wave 4 gets a new high, but it doesn't have to get a new high. So
yeah,
and actually technically the level that it broke down was that 70,006. It could come up to touch that perfectly and test that. But we even have the 70,002 as a level that it broke down. So all of these are really valid for wave 4, like I said. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those.
Yeah, I think they're definitely valid, but I'm not sure that if it did come up to that level, if we can still consider it to be wave 4. It might already be on wave B, or it might be testing the levels as a wave B at that point.
Yeah, but I don't know, because this is really clearly a wave 3, Tar. So we are definitely on a wave 4,
But it hit critical levels already.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go. 0.5 the 0.5 could be a 4 though,
Yeah.
A, B,
I'm saying
C,
where
D,
that
E.
wave 3 was, where that wave 3 hit was a very critical level.
Oh yeah.
So it could, we just need a little bit more development in order for us to determine the subwaves that come next. But this is a good outline for us to follow as we continue throughout the rest of the week.
Right. So we're working on the subwave 4 with a potential new low coming up, and we're just going to keep adjusting our fib levels for that new low that it does make. So it could come up, to all of these levels.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's get over to Ethereum then.
Okay. Ethereum makes me laugh.
I know. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum, and again, we're zoomed out to the daily time frame, and we are tracking a 5-wave structure coming up from these levels up here from our wave 4, just like I showed you on Bitcoin. On Ethereum, though, we're still in these wave 4 levels, and we have not met our 5th wave target yet, this 5th wave extension up here at 4,200. So right now, we're still currently in our wave 4, and even with that drop there, you can see we're only at that 236 retrace, which is in wave 4 levels. So we're still technically expecting this extension up here at 4,200 or so. It's still within those exact same levels. So even though we did have a big drop, not much has changed on our targets or even this wave structure in general. So let's have Casi zoom in here and give you a closer look at the subwaves here to show you what's going on.
Okay, guys, so this is Ethereum 1 hour. And just like we mentioned many times, it came almost down to that 382 retrace, the local 382 retrace again. And we mentioned that it could do that in several updates and still be okay for our wave 5 high, just like Tar mentioned. And because it didn't make a new low, those still same targets remain. So just like Tar mentioned, we're still expecting this to come up to 4,200, even though the subwaves look really messy and we can't really get anything out of those. So, and it didn't make a new low. So this is technically our wave 4 still over here. We're just still waiting for this to come up to that 4,200 target, where we could see significant resistance there. So I do want to extend my trend line a little bit because with time it needs to extend. But yeah, there isn't much else to be said on Ethereum, right?
And just that 382 remains also our critical support still, because it can still come down and hold support above that level, which is at 3,500 or so.
35.5 is our 382. So that's going to be our support. We're slightly above that, and it did technically test that. But could come down for an exact test, like you're saying, and still come up for that wave 5. So that's where I think we're at with that, and not much has changed until we get to this wave 5 target, so we can really confirm if it's a top or not there. You can see that it is setting up that bearish top. That's what we're really going to be watching for as it approaches there. So not much to be said. I'm just going to extend these, sorry. Not much to be said until it reaches those, right?
Yeah, we need to break out of these levels.
This is our next resistance here at 37.12. It's our next local resistance that really, if we break, we can start to see some action there. So not much else.
Let's go over to XRP then.
Okay,
so here we are on XRP on the daily time frame, and with that same drop on Bitcoin, you can see this was XRP's drop here. What is really frustrating with XRP is that it doesn't pump with Bitcoin, but it definitely drops when Bitcoin drops. But like we mentioned to you guys before, we did not think that XRP was going to make a new low, and you can see here that it didn't make a new low past here. The bulk of the volume of this candle is supporting right at our 0.5 fib at 497 or so. And so this is going to continue to be very critical support on XRP, and we're almost right to the apex of the triangle. I know some of them have the apex on June 10, some of them have the apex all the way until August. But we are coming really close to, like Casi has mentioned before, a forced decision on XRP. So we should be seeing some movement here very soon. The MA, keep in mind this is the daily time frame, so this is that macro view. The MA is just kind of bouncing sideways or just steadily moving along here, and is right at that 382 support, which is at 515 or so. So we do need to get back up above that level and hold it as support, so we know for sure that these are going to be our lows down here, that we're not going to be making new lows, or that we're going to start to trend up again. So that's what we're going to be watching out for on XRP. There is a little bit more room here on the RSI as well until the RSI hits that MA. So we do have some room to come up here to this 515, maybe as short-term resistance, or possibly, or hopefully, break back above it again. So let's just have Casi zoom in here and give you a closer look at what's going on.
All right, you guys. So here we are on the XRP 1 hour. And just as Tar mentioned, this is that large drop that we had. But what you can really get from this when I zoom in here is that it largely reclaimed that 0.5 retrace before closing. You can see that our close was well above that 0.5 retrace. So this is a strong sign of support to me. We do have that next resistance level, which is a little bit more short term than yours, Tar, at 0.505. And I do think it's obviously headed to test that next. So I do want to show the local retrace levels here. So I'm just grabbing that fib retrace, and I'm going right to our top here. And I'm just grabbing only the wave 3 coming down just to get our local retrace levels. And this is going to give us an idea of where this could be heading next. And you can see that we're just getting obviously more confirmation at the level that we already confirmed, which is here at 0.504, 0.505. But then even up towards, like you just mentioned, Tara, 0.515, that's a really critical level to break if we want to break our resistance and really confirm that it's on that new trend. Because you can see that is our break of our wave 1 and would invalidate a new low. So make sure that you have these retrace levels here. This is our short-term price levels here. So and you can see that support that we did have that you couldn't have seen on those larger degrees, it was caught by the local support. So it was at 0.49187. It was holding that for a while. So I think that everyone should have these on there. But like you mentioned, Tar, it's out of, I think it's out of time. You can see the RSI is starting to come up now. So I'm really excited just to see what happens. And overall, it held up well against Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, and did it make a new low?
Yeah.
So,
and not just on XRP, but I mean, maybe not Ethereum, but Bitcoin and a lot of the other altcoins, these retraces are bullish retraces. So these, anytime we're coming down into any of these retraces, they're going to be technically buying opportunities, because the wave that's coming up next is going to be a major impulse up out of these levels. So anytime that the market starts to correct like this, it's a bullish retrace where we should have more people buying and stocking up to prepare for that major impulse coming next. So so that's going to be coming very soon.
Yeah, I definitely think that we will now have the momentum we need to actually break the resistances now as we start to come up with that last drop. So the targets still remain and the larger plan still remains, and this could definitely still be our wave up to new highs. So
yeah, I do think we're going to start to see a lot of movement this week. So it's going to be a very important week in the entire crypto market, basically. So
yeah. All right, guys. And I think that's it for today's update. Thank you so much for watching. What do you guys think is going to happen this week? Make sure to stick around. Make sure to subscribe for our updates, and we'll be back sometime with another one.